जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौरा भक्त जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौरा भक्त ज्ञानतिभण्डस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकः चक्षुरुपरिवीव तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकं श्री गुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्री गुरुं वैष्णवंश्च श्री रूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देव श्री राम सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्ते कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी कृपा सिंधु पदाय कृष्ण हस्ते नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णदेव श्रीमते भक्ति सारस्वती देव करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयति गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणम् So we are reading Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adilila, chapter 12, expansions of Advaita Acharya and Gadana Pandit. So last week we read about the descendants of Advaita Acharya. So it's like a family lineage. That's what we read, right? And 3 of them became proper in the lineage, and 3 of them became like smarter Mayavadis, right? They were Mayavad, they were smarter. See, smarter coming from this word smriti. We are also following smriti, isn't it? We are Shrimad Bhagavatam is Puran. This Pancharatrika Vidhi, this is smriti, right? But it is properly understood. Actually, all these philosophies, they're like distortion of the original text. We have the Vedas, we have the Smritis, we have the Puranas, we have all these Vedic texts and the Smriti Shastras. Shruti Shastra meaning the Vedas, which is heard, and they consist only of the mantras. And Smriti, it's where you find the enactment of the of the philosophy given in the Shruti. So this Smriti gets distorted. See, the thing is that why we get so confused and can't figure out what is what, because somebody took one part of a Shastra and sat over it and wrote his own stuff, you know. He wrote his own stuff and he practiced in his own way. Now you for us, we have to go and figure out what is this person thinking. You follow what I'm saying? Like a big muni, you know, and you have to sit and think, you know, try to figure out what he's thinking. So that's why we get lost, upset, confused. Whereas when Srila Prabhupada is presenting Srimad Bhagavatam and giving details of how we are to practice Krishna consciousness with the Pancharatrika Vidhi, what we are doing, right? So this is Smriti actually, Smriti Shastra. But it is proper line. So now we read about the smartas. So we spoke about the smarta brahmanas who are some of them like Karma Kandiya, and then some are like demigod worshippers. But I hope that you're going to Kamal Lochan and keep on shouting it. Please write down Kamal Lochan Das classes on what's that? Saddarshan, Sixth System of Philosophy. It's on vihe.org. I've listened to it a number of times, but because it's all so much, like it doesn't make too much sense, so I keep forgetting it. Kamal Lochan Das, Sixth System of Philosophy, site is vihe.org. Right. So he will tell you so many things. So whatever my memory is remembering. So we have this Karma Kandiya. Like he said, we have actually not really seen the Karma Kandiya. But in South India, it looks like there are like typical Karma Kandiya. Then there are demigod worshippers. The Karma Kandiya, they only focus on the mantras. So they are not really worshipping like a form as such. These are Karma Kandiya. Then you've got the demigod worshippers who they actually sing a form, a deity, and they're worshipping and say, give me this, give me this, give me this.
उसको चाहिए क्योंकि फूल कल मंगाया कल जैनेट आएगी दादा है पर आज माला बनेगा.
Can you mute? Can you mute? Yeah. So now the Mayavad, the smarta Brahmanas who Prabhupada described as Mayavad. So what they are doing, they are Mayavadis who have this Panchopasana. And they follow a certain method of worship of these 5 devas. But they say that it doesn't matter who you worship, it's all one. All right. So these are some of the varieties of philosophy that has sprouted up from the original scripture. So therefore, Brahmananda Brahmite, Kono Bhagyavan Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. So you are most fortunate. You are able to catch hold of the lotus feet of a guru, a real bona fide guru, and don't let go. Kono Bhagyavan Jeev, don't let go. So we are already seeing how in the line of Advaita Acharya, 3 sons became Pakka and 3 sons became deviate. So it is very, very serious because these are sampradaya now. We saw in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's his disciples, his branches, they were all like scholars or renunciates, very, very renounced. Then we saw in Nityananda, they were householders and they were setting up temples and homes. Because Nityananda, he was doing this Namhata. He started this Namhata. Mahaprabhu told him, you get married. So he entered household life. Why? So that he can preach house to house. So that was the Namhata, which today we have in ISKCON also. It was revived by Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Jayapataka Maharaj took it up and brought it out in ISKCON. Right? So same pattern. So go back and read what was going on with Nityananda. Now this is Gadadhar. Advaita Acharya. And with him, these are Sampradaya, meaning how you're going, the lineage through which you are going to get knowledge. So 3 has been proper and 3 disaster. So now we come to text. 28. Text 28. Kamalakanta Vishwasa Namacharya Kinkara Acharya Vyavahara Sabha Danhara Gochara. Advaita Acharya's very confidential servant named Kamalakanta Vishwas knew all the dealings of Advaita Acharya. The name Kamalananda mentioned in the Adi Lila 10.149 and the name Kamalakanta mentioned in Madhya Lila 10.94 both refer to the same man. Kamalakanta is a very confidential servant of Lord Chaitanya, born in a Brahmin family, engaged in the service of Sri Advaita Acharya as his secretary. When Paramananda Puri went from Navadvip to Jagannath Puri, he took Kamalakanta Vishwas with him and they both went to see Lord Chaitanya at Jagannath Puri. It is mentioned in the Madhya Lila 10.94 that one of the devotees of Lord Chaitanya, the Brahmana Kamalakanta, went with Paramananda Puri to Jagannath Puri. Nilachali tenhoe ka patrika likhiya Prataparudrera Pashadila Pathaya. When Kamalakanta Vishwas was in Jagannath Puri, he sent a note to someone to Maharaj Prataparudra, the government. So, Kamalakanta, he's the secretary of Advaita Acharya. So, when he went to Jagannath Puri, he sent a note to Maharaj Prataparudra, the king. Text 30. Se patrira katha acharya nahi jane, kona pake se patriyaina prabhu sthane. No one knew of that note, but somehow or other it reached the hands of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All right. Just see, nobody knew of that note, but somehow or other it reached the hands of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. See, in this world, you should know that there is more than just what you're seeing, opposite you. There's more. This is how, things move. Now, I'll read it again. When Paramananda, I'm reading text 28. When Paramananda Puri went from Navadvip to Jagannath Puri, he took Kamalakanta Vishwas with him, and they both went to see Lord Chaitanya at Jagannath Puri. All right. So Kamalakanta and Paramananda Puri, they went to Jagannath Puri to see Lord Chaitanya. But Kamalakanta has sent a note to the king, Maharaj Prataparudra. Now let's see what's the drama that's going to happen now. Se patrite lekha che eta likhana Ishwaratve acharyere kariya che sthapana. That note established Advaita Acharya as an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of God. Text 32. Kintu tanra deve kichu bhaya cherin rina shodhi bare chahi tanka shatadin. But it also mentioned that Advaita Acharya had recently incurred a debt of about 300 rupees that Kamalakanta Vishwas wanted to liquidate. You see how contradictory it is? What is the contradiction?
That Advaita Acharya is the supreme personality of Godhead, but still he is under debt.
Yeah. So, yeah, the Supreme Person Godhead, he's going begging from the king, right? Patra pariye prabhuram mane haila duk, bahire hasiya kichubale chandramuk. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became unhappy upon reading the note, although his face still shone as brightly as the moon. Thus smiling, he spoke as follows. Acharyere sthapiyache kariya Ishwar. Ithe dosh nahi Acharya Devata Ishwar. He has established Advaita Acharya as an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is nothing wrong in this, for he is indeed the Lord himself. Ishwarera dainya kariya che bhiksha, ateva danda kari karaiba shiksha. But he has made the incarnation of Godhead a poverty-stricken beggar. Therefore, I shall punish him in order to correct him. Okay, Amrita Radhe, read the purport. Let's hear.
All right, Mataji. To describe a man as an incarnation of God or Narayan and at the same time present him as poverty stricken is contradictory, and it is the greatest offense. The Mayavadi philosophers engaged in the missionary work of spoiling the Vedic culture by preaching that everyone is God describe a poverty stricken man as Daridra Narayan or poor Narayan. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never accepted such foolish and unauthorized ideas. He strictly warned Mayavadi Bhashya Shunile Hoy Sarvanash. Anyone who follows the principles of Mayavad philosophy is certainly doomed. Such a fool needs to be reformed by punishment. Although it is contradictory to say that the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his incarnation is poverty stricken, we find in the revealed scriptures that when Lord incarnated as Vamana, he begged some land from Maharaj Bali. Everyone knows, however, that Vamandev was not at all poverty stricken. His begging from Maharaj Bali was a device to favor him. When Maharaj Bali actually gave the land, Vamanadev exhibited his all powerful possession by covering the three worlds with three steps. One should not accept the so called Daridra Narayans as incarnations because they are completely unable to show the opulence of the genuine incarnations of God.
You understand? What
Yes,
is this
Mataji.
Daridra Narayan? You
Sorry?
know, I mean, this, it's like, so you say, instead of offering bhog to the Supreme Lord, so if we will just feed the poor people, this is feeding Narayan, the Ridra Narayan. This is what they have termed this. Why should we offer bhog in the temple? Why should we donate to offer bhog in the temple? So what should we do? We should donate to feed the poor people. Why? Because these people, they are Narayan, but they're Daridra. Daridra meaning poor. And so they make everybody become Narayan. Why? This is Mayavad philosophy. So that's why we're saying that there is the original philosophy. Then somebody come cook up one philosophy, another one cooked up another philosophy, and for us, we have to sit and study what is the philosophy, what's going on in their brain, right? That's why we all confused. We can't understand what is what. Now, Prabhupada said that although it is contradictory to say that the Supreme Person Godhead or his incarnation is poverty stricken, we find in the real scripture that when the Lord incarnated as Vamana, he begged some land from Maharaj Bali. All right. So you say, okay, he's a poor man, he's a small, super beautiful boy, Vamana, small boy, super beautiful, so beautiful that Bali Maharaj was captivated seeing him and welcomed him. Very sweet, very cute. So what did he do? He's the Supreme Lord, but he came how? As a Brahmana begging. All right? He came as Brahmana begging. When Maharaj, but his begging from Maharaj Bali was a device to favor him. When Maharaj Bali actually gave the land, Vaman Dev exhibited his all-powerful position by covering the three worlds with three steps. So he looked poverty stricken, right? So he came begging. But finally what happened? He's the owner of the entire creation. This is Narayan. Mhm. Let's read. Who wants to read? All right, okay. Devahuti, you read, and then Anupama next, okay?
Hare Krishna. Text 36. Govinদের आज्ञा दिला इन्हा अजी होइते बाउलिया विश्वासे एथा ना दिबे आशीते. The Lord ordered Govinda, from today on, do not allow the Bauliya Kamlakant Vishwas to come here. The Bauliyas or the Baulas are one of the 13 unauthorized sects that pass as followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Lord ordered Govinda, his personal assistant, not to allow Kamlakant Vishwas to come into his presence because he had become a Bauliya. Thus, although the Baul Sampradaya, Aul Sampradaya, and the Sahajiya Sampradaya, as well as the Smartas, Joto Goshanis, Ottovadis, Chudadharis, and Gauranga Nagaris, claim to belong to the disciplic succession of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord actually rejected them.
Text 37, Anupama.
दंड सुनी विश्वाशैला परम दुखिता सुनिया प्रभु दंड आचार्य हर्षिता. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. When Kamalkant Vishwas heard about this punishment by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was very unhappy. But when Advaita Prabhu heard about it, he was greatly pleased. Purport. In the Bhagavad Gita 9.29, the Lord says, Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshu asti na priya. I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all. The Supreme Personality of Godhead being equal to everyone, no one can be his enemy, nor can anyone be his friend. Since everyone is a part or son of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Lord cannot be partial and regard someone as a friend and someone as an enemy. Thus, when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu punished Kamalakanta Vishwas by no longer allowing him to come into his presence, although his punishment was actually very hard on him, Sri Advaita Prabhu, understanding the inner meaning of such punishment, was happy because he appreciated that the Lord had actually favored Kamalakanta Vishwas. Therefore, he was not at all unhappy. Devotees should always be happy with all the dealings of their master, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A devotee may be put into difficulty or opulence, but he should accept both as gifts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and jubilantly engaged in the service of the Lord in all circumstances.
Yes. We are learning things here, right? Okay, Shinya, you read the next one. 38.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Yes, thank you. Vishvasere kahye tumi bada bhagyavan tamare karila danda prabhu bhagavan. Seeing Kamalakanta Vishvasa unhappy, Advaita Acharya Prabhu told him, "You are greatly fortunate to have been punished by the Supreme Lord, the Personality of Godhead, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is an authoritative judgment by Sri Advaita Prabhu. He clearly advises that one should not be unhappy when reverses come upon him by the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A devotee should always be happy to receive the fortune awarded him by the Supreme Lord, which seems pleasant or unpleasant according to one's judgment." Text 39. Purve Mahaprabhu more karena samana dukha pai mane ami kailun anumana. Formerly, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always respected me as his senior, but I did not like such respect. Therefore, my mind being afflicted by unhappiness, I made a plan.
Yes, Shashi, you want to read?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
मुक्तिश्रेष्ठा करी कैडू वशिष्ठा व्याख्यान उदाहरण प्रभु मोरे कैला अपमाना. Thus I expounded the Yoga Vasishtha, which consider liberation the ultimate goal of life. For this, the Lord became angry at me and treated me with apparent disrespect. Purport. There is a book of the name Yoga Vasishtha that Mayavadis greatly favor because it is full of impersonal misunderstandings regarding the Supreme Personality of Godhead with no touch of Vaishnavism. Factually, all Vaishnavas should avoid such a book, but Advait Acharya Prabhu, wanting punishment from the Lord, began to support the impersonal statements of the Yoga Vasishtha. Thus, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became extremely angry at him and seemingly treated him disrespectfully. Danda pane haile more parama ananda, ye danda paile bhagyavan Shri Mukunda. When cherished by Lord Chaitanya, I was very happy to receive a punishment similar to that awarded Sri Mukunda. Purport. Sri Mukunda, a great friend and associate of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, used to visit many places where people were against the Vaishnava cult. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to know of this, he punished Mukunda, forbidding him to see him again. Although Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was soft like a flower, he was also strict like a thunderbolt, and everyone was afraid to allow Mukunda to come again into the presence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mukunda, therefore being very sorry, asked his friends whether he would one day be allowed to see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When the devotees brought this inquiry to Lord Chaitanya, the Lord replied, Mukunda will get permission to see me after many millions of years. When they gave this information to Mukunda, he danced with jubilation. And when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard that Mukunda was so patiently waiting to meet him after millions of years, he immediately asked him to return. There is a statement about this punishment of Mukunda in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, Madhya Khand, 10th chapter.
Yes. So this is about punishment. So usually we don't like to be chastised, to be punished. And now we start to see the dealings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with his devotees, how he's correcting them, how philosophical deviation, philosophical misunderstanding. Like in one side you say he's God and then you say he's a beggar, right? So and just see what happened. Like the letter was sent to the king, but somehow that letter came in the hands of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. How that happened, nobody knows. Right? And now, so Advaita Acharya, so when Kamalakanta was chastised, so Mahaprabhu was unhappy inside, but outwardly he smiled and just say, tell him to get out. He doesn't want to see him again. He doesn't want him to be part of his group at all. Right? So he was unhappy. Kamalakanta was unhappy. And then Advaita Acharya became very happy. He said, Mahaprabhu was angry with you. He chastised you. Right? He chastised you. I was looking to be chastised. So he's giving this example that how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he had chastised Mukunda previously. But Advaita Acharya was thinking, oh, he's always so respectful to me. Mahaprabhu is always so respectful to me. Because Advaita Acharya was elderly. He was elderly, he was like the father. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always respected him. But with Mukunda, so Mukunda was speaking, I think, yoga shastras, right?
Meeting people who were against the Vaishnavas.
Yeah, he was teaching some story, right? Oh, that was okay. So, Advaita Acharya who was speaking yoga Vasishtha. And then Mukunda, what he was doing? He was going here and there, learning a little bit from here, everybody, and he was speaking so many stuff together, right? So see, Mahaprabhu is teaching us a simple formula. Anya Bilashita Shunyam Jnana Karmadi Anavritam Anukulena Krishnanu Shilanam Bhakti Uttam. Mahaprabhu is teaching us what is Bhakti Uttama. Bhakti Uttama should be devoid of any type of material desires, Anya Bilashita Shunyam. There should be no Mayavad philosophy in it. There should be no Karma Kandiya philosophy in it. And there should be no yoga system in it or any other stuff. Pure. So now, Advaita Acharya, what did he do? He started speaking yoga Vashishta. So therefore, he got banged with Mahaprabhu. And Mukunda used to visit many places where people were against the Vaishnav cult. So he was going here and there, you know. So Mahaprabhu said, tell him, I don't want to see his face. He's not part of us. Tell him to get out, right? All right. Reading next, Andira Radha. You want to read text 42?
Haribol, yeah.
Text 42.
ये दंड पहला श्री चर्चित भाग्यवती ते दंड प्रसादे अन्य लोक पावे कति. A similar punishment was awarded to Mother Sachidevi. Who could be more fortunate than she to receive such punishment? Mother Sachidevi was similarly punished as mentioned in the Chaitanya Bhagavat Madhya Kanda, chapter 22. Mother Sachidevi, apparently showing her feminine nature, accused Advaita Prabhu of encouraging her son to become a sannyasi. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, taking this accusation as an offense, asked Sachidevi to touch the lotus feet of Advaita Acharya to mitigate the offense she had supposedly committed. Text 43. Etakahi Acharya Tanvai Kariya Ashvasha Anandita Aila Brahmaha Prabhu Pasha. After pacifying Kamalakanta Vyadhiswa in this way, the Advaita Acharya Prabhu went to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Prabhu ke kahe na tumhara nu na bujji e lila ama hai te prasada patra karila kamala. Sri Advaita Acharya told Lord Chaitanya, I cannot understand your transcendental pastime. Neither me. You have shown more favor to Kamalakanta than you generally show to me. Amareha.
Yeah, so you can see that it's very intense. You should know that. It is extremely intense to be in a spiritual sangha. It's extremely intense. So if we always remain on the periphery, you know, and we don't come sufficiently close, then we don't learn anything. They're just like floating around at the fringe, we say. You don't really learn anything. Now we are studying Chaitanya Charitamrita so that you actually know what it is to be in close quarters. In close quarters with in a spiritual sangha of potent and powerful personalities. Who can approach Mahaprabhu? Right? Now, from the king, one letter made its way to Mahaprabhu. Right? And why the king sent it to Mahaprabhu? We don't know. Just say somehow or other it fell in their hands. See, it's not just a WhatsApp message, you know, that you put one message, it propagates all over the world, right? We're speaking of a handwritten letter sent to a specific person, but it landed up in the hand of Mahaprabhu. And no detail is given why, how. he came to know about it. And what was his reaction? Now Advaita Acharya, he's going to meet Mahaprabhu. You know, just like we think it's so difficult to meet the prime ministers, like almost impossible to meet, you know, the prime minister, right? This is the best I can think of. How difficult it is to meet Mahaprabhu, to be in that circle, that intimate circle. The king could not meet Mahaprabhu, right? The king couldn't meet him. And now, you know, two very prominent, see, because Kamala Kanta is associated with Advaita Acharya, right? So he's he's the secretary of Advaita. This is a very high position. Advaita Acharya was the main Brahmana of the entire Vaishnava community in Shantipur, right? So he had position, but a very high position. Today we talk down when we speak of Brahmana. But those days, a Brahmana was well respected. They have their position. They have their power. So to be secretary of Advaita Acharya is a big thing. It's a really big thing. Now, Mahaprabhu has thrown out the secretary of Advaita Acharya, and the master is going, right, is going to Mahaprabhu. Just understand how the spiritual circle works. So that's why we say, be the dog of the spiritual master. Loyal dog of the spiritual master. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, the disciple is like a loyal dog of the spiritual master. And because of this, so we are just a dog. But if the master becomes merciful, this is how high he can go. He can approach Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Anupama Mishra, you can read next.
Hare Krishna. Text 45. Amareha kabu ye nahai prasad, tomar charni ami ki kainu aparadha. Translation: the favor you have shown, Kamalakant, is so great that even to me you have never shown such favor. What offense have I committed at your lotus feet so as not to be shown such favor? Purport: This is a reference to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's former punishment of Advaitacharya. When Advaitacharya Prabhu was reading Yoga Vasishtha, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu beat him, but he never told him not to come into his presence. But Kamalkant was punished with the order never to come into the Lord's presence. Therefore, Sri Advaitacharya Prabhu wanted to impress upon Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that he had shown more favor to Kamalakanta Vishwas because he had prohibited Kamalakanta from seeing him, whereas he had not done so to Advaitacharya. Therefore, the favor shown therefore the favor shown Kamalakanta Vishwas was greater than that shown Advaitacharya. Text 46. Eta shuni Mahaprabhu hasite lagila bolaya Kamalakante prasanna haila. Hearing this, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu laughed with satisfaction and immediately called Kamalakanta Vishwas. Text 47. Acharya kahe iha ke kene dile darshana dui prakrite kare more vidambana. Advaita Acharya then said to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Why have you called back this man and allowed him to see you? He has cheated me in two ways. शुनिय प्रभुर मन प्रसन्न होइला दुन्हर अंतर katha dunhe se janile. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard this, his mind was satisfied. Only they could understand each other's minds.
Yes. Text, Rashmi, you can read 49.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Text 49. प्रभु कहे बोलिया ऐचे काहे कर आचार्येर लज्जा धर्म हानि से आचर. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed Kamalakant, you are a Bauliya, one who does not show things as they are. Why do you act in this way? Why do you invade the privacy of Advaita Acharya and damage his religious principles? Purport: Kamalakant Vishwas, out of his ignorance, asked the king of Jagannath Puri, Maharaj Prataprudra, to liquidate the 300 rupee debt of Advaitacharya. But at the same time, he established Advaitacharya as an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is contradictory. An incarnation of the Supreme Godhead cannot be indebted to anyone in this material world. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is never satisfied by such a contradiction, which he technically called rasabhas, or overlapping of one humor ras with another. This is the same type of idea as the contradiction that Narayan is poverty-stricken, Daridra Narayan.
You understand what's going on here?
Yes, Mataji.
And see how, the relationship. So that's why, to have the favor of a pure devotee is so important, right? Usually we want to be, like political alliances. We want to know somebody like if we want to get work done, we should know somebody, like insider, right? So here we find that Kamalakanta was so fortunate. He was so fortunate that Advaita Acharya went and spoke on his behalf to Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then Mahaprabhu called him, all right, in the beginning. So he was unhappy inside, but outwardly, he remained his Chandra Mukha, right? How is it described? How his Patra Pariye Prabhura Mane Haila Duk. And so he became, his man became Duk. Bahire Hasiya Kichu Bale Chandramukh. So his face, his moon-like face, right? His face shone as brightly as the moon. So he smilingly said, he has established Advaita Acharya as an incarnation of the Supreme Person Godhead. There's nothing wrong in this, but he's indeed, for he's indeed the Lord himself. But he has made the incarnation of Godhead a poverty-stricken beggar. Therefore, I shall punish him in order to correct him. All right. So this is Rasa Bhas. So Mahaprabhu, see, there are let's say recipes, right? There is a recipe, meaning you have a notes, ingredients, and method. So this is what you read, the theory, okay? And then you have to go in the kitchen, you actually have to make it, right? So how to practice devotional service? So the method is given. All the intricacies of rasa. Rasa means relationships. What is what in the relationship? This is given. All right. Now, here's an example of rasa bhas. So nectar of devotion, how many of you have read nectar of devotion? have not read Nectar of Devotion. So it's good that we read Nectar of Devotion because there are plenty of Krishna Lila there. So many sweets, the sweetest of Krishna Lila in Nectar of Devotion, describing the different types of rasas. 4 types of rasa, 5 types of rasa, plus 7 types of sub-rasas, and then contradictory rasas. So examples of these rasas are given. So here Mahaprabhu is saying that on the one hand, you are a Bauliya, one who doesn't know things as they are. Why do you act in this way? Why do you invade? Just see. Why do you invade the privacy of Advaita Acharya and damage his religious principles? So when somebody is unqualified, he's looking at the master, right? Kamalakanta is a secretary of Advaita Acharya. So he's looking at the master. He's not understanding who he is. Right? So he's humiliating. He's actually humiliating his master in front of the king. Right? He's humiliating, but he didn't realize what he was doing. Lajja, privacy. Why do you invade the privacy of Advaita Acharya and damage his religious principles? So to be a servant of a great personality is extremely difficult. Even though Kamalakanta Vishwas was like qualified, was a Brahmana, right? We read somewhere, he was a Brahmana. Let's find it, anybody can find it. Yeah, text 28. So Kamalakanta, a very confidential servant of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, born in a Brahmana family. All right. He was a very confidential servant of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, born in a Brahman family. Even then, he made a mistake. Right? He was a Brahmana. He's an intimate, a confidential servant of Lord Chaitanya. But he couldn't understand Advaita Acharya. So what did he do? Lajja. Acharya Lajja Dharma Hani. You're breaking the religious principle of Advaita Acharya. Why do you act in this way? Why do you invade the privacy of Advaita Acharya and damage his religious principles? So what was the problem? Kamalakanta Vishwas, out of ignorance, asked the king of Jagannath Puri Maharaj Prataparudha to liquidate the 300 rupee debt of Advaita Acharya. But at the same time, he established Advaita Acharya as an incarnation of Supreme Person Godhead. This is contradictory. So what was happening? He said, see what he was doing. See what he was doing. He said that I have 300 rupees. Well, that's so. 300 rupee debt. This was 500-600 years back. He has a debt of 300 rupees. So, in order to push his point, why the king should liquidate that debt, he's saying, you know, he's God. You follow what he did? Did anybody follow what he did? Did he do?
So materially, he wanted to act in interest of Advaita Acharya. That's why he said liquidate the debt. But at the same time, he's saying that he's God, so that Prataparudra comes under the influence. And he's thinking very materially, in a way.
Yeah, yes. He said, he's not a small person. He's the supreme person of Godhead, so you can liquidate him. So that letter made its way to Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Mahaprabhu.
Mahaprabhu.
But
Right?
how come he had
Mataji, I have a question.
how come the Supreme Personality of Godhead has a death in the first place?
Yes. So that's why Mahaprabhu is chastising him.
But Mataji, I would also like to hear the way Advait Acharya cooled down Mahaprabhu by saying that whatever benediction that you gave to Kamlakant is much more than mine. The way he put across that, it actually melted Mahaprabhu's heart. He got Kamlakant back. So that is such an intimate relationship, the way they are conversing, that they can actually read each other's minds so perfectly, like they are actually sitting in. He knew that Mahaprabhu actually is not angry for himself. He is angry because Kamlakanta put forward Advait Acharya in such a materialistic position, which actually he is not. So this was the reason of his anger. So the way they understood each other, that is such a hidden meaning here. I mean, it's very profound.
Yeah. And there it says, no, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard this, his mind was satisfied. Only they could understand each other's mind. See, when you come to a higher circle, all right, this is extremely high circle. They can understand each other. And those who are lower are looking for figure out. Right? So that's why it's extremely extremely painful to be part of the general population who's looking at somebody who is very exalted, right? And not able to figure out who he is, right? So just see what Mahaprabhu told him. Acharyera lajja dharma hani. Lajja, that you invaded the privacy of Advaita Acharya and you damage his religious principles. Text 50. Who didn't read now? Amrita, who didn't read? Everybody read? Okay. All right. Pratigraha kabhu na karibe raja dhana. Vishaira na khaile. Dushta haimana. Advaita Acharya, my spiritual master, should never accept charity from rich men or kings. Because if a spiritual master accepts money or grains from such materialist, his mind becomes polluted. Purport. It is very risky to accept money or food from materialistic persons, for such acceptance pollutes the mind of the charity's recipient. According to the Vedic system, one should give charity to sannyasis and brahmanas, because one who does give charity becomes free from sinful activities. Formally, therefore, brahmanas will not accept charity from a person unless he was very pious. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave these instructions for all spiritual masters. Materialistic persons who are not inclined to give up their sinful activities like illicit sex, intoxication, gambling, and meat eating sometimes want to become our disciples. But unlike professional spiritual masters who accept disciples regardless of their conditions, Vaishnavas do not accept such cheap disciples. One must at least agree to abide by the rules and regulations for a disciple before a Vaishnava Acharya can accept him. In fact, a Vaishnava should not even accept charity or food from persons who do not follow the rules and regulations of the Vaishnava principles. All right. So this is very, very important and significant, right? So our principle should be very clear. So one should not accept charity or money or grains from materialist. So that's why when our devotees, we go door to door, we collect donation, has to be given to the temple. Have to be very, very careful about this, because otherwise we'll become polluted. If we pocket, somebody give a donation for the temple and you pocket it, you have to take the karma of that person, right? Have to be very careful. Yes, Shinya. So question.
Yes, I have a question. Thank you, Hare Krishna. This is quite like a strong principle to not accept charity. So we should be following that strictly, right?
Yes.
And does that apply also to benefits? For example, benefits could be considered as charity, isn't it?
Sorry?
Does that apply to benefits? Like, say, benefits from government, because that can be considered as charity.
Oh, you use it in Krishna's service.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
so if we get something for charity, then say even if it's not from the government, but if we use it in Krishna's service, then it's okay.
Yeah, yeah. Use it in Krishna's service.
Even if it's not from a Vaishnava principle, like.
Yeah, use it in Krishna's service. Right?
Okay. But then that contradicts these statements in a way.
Therefore, our life has to be Krishna conscious. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Our entire life has to be Krishna conscious. See, I mean, now this king, okay? So this government, I guess that's how you've projected it in modern terms, right?
Yes,
so the
exactly.
King, so the king is it. So, well, we have to continue to read. Let's continue to read. We go over time, but we have to continue to read because the point is being explained more now. Should we continue to read?
Yes, okay, thank you.
Text 51. Okay, you read, Shinya.
Yes. Mana dustahaile nahe Krishnera smarana Krishna smriti vinuhaya nispala jivana. When one's mind is polluted, it is very difficult to remember Krishna, and when remembrance of Lord Krishna is hampered, one's life is unproductive. Purpose. A devotee should always be alert, keeping his mind in a sanguine state, so that he can always remember Lord Sri Krishna. In Shastra's the Shastra states, Smartavyaha Satatam Vishnu. In devotional service, one should always remember Lord Vishnu. Srila Sukadeva Goswami also advised Maharaj Parikshit, Yo Nityashaha. In the second canto, first chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, Sukadeva Goswami advised Parikshit Maharaj, Tasmat Bharata Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishvara Hari Shrotavyaha Kirti Tavyascha Smartavyash Chastabhayam. O descendant of King Bharata, one who desires to be free from all miseries must hear about, glorify, and also remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the Super Soul, the controller and the savior from all miseries. Bhagavatam 2.1.5. This is the summary of all the activities of a Vaishnava, and the same instruction is repeated here. Krishna Smriti Vinuhaya Nispala Jivana. Srila Rupa Goswami states in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Avyartha Kalatvam. A Vaishnava must be very alert not to waste even a second of his valuable lifetime. This is a symptom of a Vaishnava. but association with pounds and shillings men or Vishayis, materialists who are simply interested in sense gratification, pollutes one's mind and hampers such continuous remembrance of Lord Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore advised Asat Sangatyaga, or i.e. Vaishnava Achara. A Vaishnava should behave in such a way as to never associate with non-devotees or materialists. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila 2287. One can avoid such association simply by always remembering Krishna within his heart. 1252. Loka Laja Haya Dharma Kirti Haya Hani Aiche Karma Na Kariha Kapo Iha Jani. Thus, one becomes unpopular in the eyes of the people in general, for this damages his religiosity and fame. A Vaishnava, especially one who acts as a spiritual master, must not act in such a way. One should always be conscious of this fact. Text 53. Ei Shiksha Sabakare Sabemane Kaila Acharya Gosani Mane Ananda Paila. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave this instruction to Kamalakanta, all present considered it to be meant for everyone. Thus, Advaita Acharya was greatly pleased.
Yeah, so now, so we see here, Advaita Acharya, his name is Acharya, right? Meaning he's an Acharya. Acharya, Advaita Acharya, text 50, Advaita Acharya, my spiritual master, should never accept charity from rich men or kings, because if a spiritual master accepts money or grains from such materialists, his mind becomes polluted. So charity is to be given to sannyasis and brahmanas. All right, this is their means of livelihood. Right, everybody got their own means of livelihood. Right, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudras. Right. So how are brahmanas maintained? They are maintained through charity. They are the only one who are allowed to collect charity. But there are rules. There are rules. So this charity is to be accepted only from few pious people. This is the rule here. When it comes to personal maintenance. All right. Your own personal maintenance, it should come like your students, right? If you're a teacher, Brahmana, you accept charity from your students because you're training them to follow the principles. So you can accept their donation, right? For your personal use. And anything else that's collected from here and there, like this is meant, like Prabhupada is doing, it goes back to the public. You follow this principle, it goes back to the public. And in ISKCON, Prabhupada has this whole system of accounting, meaning whatever you collect, you deposit in a bank account, meaning it's presented and it is announced to the deities that this is the collection, right? And then it is utilized. See the system. Now, what has happened? So accepting charity is only the prerogative of Brahmanas. Now, what has happened actually, very unfortunate, I heard the history, heard the history. Anyway, this is public story of the world. Different sociological breakdown has happened. You know, like India, what happened with India? Like this devotee, in Govinda Prabhu, he was explaining that Brahmanas, very few Brahmanas are there. This is like the elite, right? Class, the intellectual. So very few people. So therefore, it's so easy to maintain them, and they qualify. But when India was invaded, so he said everybody became a beggar. Everybody became a beggar. Then you couldn't distinguish between the real beggar and the population beggar. So this is one thing that happened. Now you could say in the West, the Western countries, so many factors have contributed to break down the societies. Wars. Like right now, wars are happening. How will these people earn their living? They have to accept charity, right? Isn't it? They have to be maintained by the government. I heard this, this documentary. It said that in India, there was never a pension scheme. Why? Because the family take care of the old people. When you have, how many, 130 crore people in India? I don't know how many are old people. So from where will you get a pension scheme? Right? So it was inherent. It was inherent in the family system that you take care of the children and you take care of the old people. That was the system. And now in the West, because for so many reasons, I'm taking one, it is wars, or maybe because automation, so there is no work for you, or all these, you remove work from small people, you open up huge malls, and when the malls, break down, go in bankruptcy, then you come in the street, you are starving, right? So many factors. It's a total chaos in the social system. Therefore, people become unemployed, right? They become unemployed, or sometimes people become handicapped, they become sick, invalid, whatever. Then the government has to start giving. They have to maintain because it's their duty, right? It's their duty. They have to give. Crisis. So it's not like natural, it's a crisis. And yeah, anyway, I can't get into too much discussion about the effect of living, with government support. I don't want to get too much into it, but now what is happening, like you can see, they keep on pushing the age group for retirement. Government cannot afford. So pension scheme, before it was 55, then 60, then now it's going to 55. I heard it's 67, you have to go on working, right? So much mess up happened. So this is not what we're talking about here. This is not at all what was being discussed here. This is this is applicable in the Brahmana community. This discussion here is applicable in the Brahmana community. And for others, which are victim of circumstances, social breakdown, etc. So if they're accepting their livelihood pension or whatever from the government means accepting pension from the government, meaning so many millions of people are being taxed, right? And it's going in the hundi, in the account of the government. And this is how they are maintaining those who need it. So we have to be very careful. We have to be extremely careful that if we are taking money from the government, we should live our lives properly, because otherwise so much hatred people are giving that tax. Isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. I think when you're taking something, you are absorbing. This is what it talks about here. You are absorbing the condition of the people, and if people are being taxed, all the suffering that goes into they're working hard in their jobs, and then you are taking some of the suffering on, isn't it? So if you are actually just taking benefit and just enjoying life, and you're not Krishna conscious, then you're basically using up all your good karma in a way, isn't it?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
accumulating bad karma.
Yeah, you're taking on the people's bad karma, and you're using up very good. Yeah, very good. You're using up your own good karma, and then one day it will come to, when it's exhausted, then the rise of the result of impious deeds, right, will manifest in other ways.
Yeah, it's a downfall basically. You're sliding down.
Yeah. Yeah, and see, ordinary people, when they get money, what do? They become lazy, even if they can work, even they become lazy, right? They don't bother to find a job. Anyway, so many, I haven't analyzed what happens. And then one day when there's war in the country, right? And what do? What do? There's no unlimited fund in a country, and there's always threat of instability, like I just described. You keep on, increasing and increasing the date limit of your retirement, right? And taxes go on increasing and increasing. Yeah. Anyway, you got it, right? Shenya, you got it.
Yes, thank you very much for this. Just the clarified things in my head. Thank you.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So many things we are learning. No? So these are intricacies of spiritual life. Thank you, Hare Krishna. I'm checking to do this check.
Hare Krishna.
Thank
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you
Thank you for
giving us
associating with everybody.
with that.